This is the value of wrestling, the revolutionary force in wrestling podcasting.
Oh, we're back for another episode of the Value of Wrestling's Raw Review. We are going to go everything that happened on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw for October 30th on the eve of Halloween. We're going to break it all down for you right after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Value of Wrestling, and this is your Raw review for October 30th on the eve of All Hallows Eve. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you know me. I'm the one, the only. I am the big time. Oh, you know it. And of course, sitting across from me tonight, the one, the only. Oh, yeah. The original tag team back again to get it done right here on the Raw review for the Value of Wrestling. Mr. Clarke, glad to see you here. If you're in the chat, join us. Make sure you drop a like. If this is your first time here, hit a subscribe. Join us. We're going to talk about it. We're going to break it all down. So we thank you for being here. Anyways, it's Monday Night Raw. It's the go-home show before Crown Jewel. And, of course, we open Monday Night Raw with part of Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley and Dirty Dominic Mysterio, as they're calling him on it. So the Dirty One's back again. I guess Dom stopped taking showers at some point, and Mommy's making sure that he's not taking his bath. So Dirty Dom's back, and, of course, they come out with kind of a shocking J.D. McDonough comes out with Rhea and Dom. Rhea gets on the mic and welcomes us to Monday Night Raw, the show that Judgment Day runs. I guess you either run the place or you're the face of the place or you're the camp or the tent. I don't know. Everybody has some catchphrase about the ones that run the show. Monday Night Rollins, and the list goes on and on. Anyways, they go on about everything. Eventually, they talk about, or she talks about Seth and Drew having to make a decision coming up soon, and here comes Sami Zayn. Sami on the mic says he's tired of hearing Rhea Ripley talk, which I think some people would probably disagree with. I guess I think there's plenty of people who would just listen to her talk all night long. You know it. Anyway, Sami says he's tired of groups, he's tired of all this, and he's going to be the rebellion, he's going to be the resistance, and he doesn't care if he has to take on Judgment Day 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, 4-on-1, 5-on-1, which I think maybe hints at a possible future scenario going into Survivor Series. I have a feeling we just might get a 5-on-5 War Games match at Survivor Series. And I also think we might get some traditional Survivor Series matches. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see. It seems like there's a lot of team-building matches going into Survivor Series on all kinds of brands here. So it might be interesting if that comes together. We can get the War Games with a 5-on-5, and then other matches can be 4-on-4 or 3-on-3, maybe a traditional Survivor Series elimination type match. Could be interesting, maybe in the works. We know Triple H is more about, traditional wrestling, some of the old stuff that we haven't seen in a long time. Anyways, Rhea eventually, Sami Zayn says he's going to fight as long as he has a breath in him. He's going to fight Judgment Day until they're done. Rhea says that's fine and says that she's going to have whoever is in charge back there make a match between Sami and Damian Priest. Dirty Dom's on the mic and gets boos. Of course, at this time, it doesn't sound like it's piped in. It sounds like the normal boos for what he gets. And Dom says, why wait? Let's fight now. And it looks like Judgment Day is going to attack Sammy, but here's Ricochet. Ricochet is out. It looks like Judgment Day is going to leave, but here comes J.D. McDonough to charge Ricochet, but Ricochet ducks, and J.D. McDonough flies over the top rope. And as soon as Ricochet turns, here comes Dom, but Ricochet looks like he's going to punch Dom. Dom hits the deck of the mat, rolls back out of the ring. And that is your opening segment. We get Judgment Day, we get Sami Zayn, we get Ricochet, we get a whole plethora of stuff there. It was a good segment. Rhea sounding good, really continuing her position as the quote-unquote leader of Judgment Day. And, we got Sami in it, Ricochet getting into the mix-up now. This is a different face, a different name that we hadn't seen as a major player into all of this, but it's going to be interesting to see what role he's going to play. Since we last seen him attacking Logan Paul or trying to attack Logan Paul, but now he's going to make it up with Judgment Day. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on the opening to tonight's Monday Night Raw?
My favorite part of this whole opening segment was the fact of when Ricochet was going to go look like he's going to hit Dom, and Dom's like, never mind, I'm good. I don't know if you'd ever, think of Dom as a good actor, but he can still give you some good expressions, some good facials.
Oh, definitely. Dom can definitely. He's getting better at everything he's doing, and he's definitely becoming more convincible, and definitely got the acting down. So it's very, very good. So, what are your thoughts on everything with Ricochet in this?
They still got a long ways to go with me when it comes to Ricochet, because they've just used him as enhancement talent for most of his career in the WWE. I mean, he's had some high spots here and there, but I know he's former Intercontinental Champion, etc. But they've got a lot of work to do with him. Not that he doesn't have the talent; it's his booking that I generally tend to critique.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people are holding their breath to see what happens. But now that we're fully under the Triple H reign, it seems like Triple H is starting to build him up that ladder. He's had a good feud with Nakamura. He's still kind of feuding with Logan Paul, so he's getting more attention than he's gotten before. He's looking better. He's getting some decent wins. It's balancing out a little better than it was before, so hopefully this leads into his favor. But anyways, this does lead into our opening match, Dominic Mysterio versus Ricochet. Everybody was calling him Dirty Dom tonight. There was a lot of emphasis on Dirty Dom being there. Really good match. Dominic really looking better and better each week that he's in this ring. Really a lot of talent. Ricochet looked really good in this match. Eventually went up to the top rope, but Rhea jumps on the top or up on the apron to distract him. The referee's trying to get her down. Then J.D. McDonough jumps up to the apron, and Ricochet jumps down. He tries to kick Dunne, but Dunne drops down. And then in this process, it looks like Ricochet was going to go after J.D. McDonough, but then Dom grabs Ricochet through the ropes, pulls him through the ropes, rolls him over into a schoolboy, then puts his feet on the ropes, and with a handful of types, Dirty Dominic Mysterio picks up a big win tonight. Of course, after the match, Ricochet goes on the attack. He attacks Dom, but Dom ducks, and Ricochet hits McDonough instead, and then he turns to attack Dom, takes down Dom, and then he sets him up for the 450. And he starts to go up, but Rhea comes in and pulls Dom out of the way, and Judgment Day escapes barely. But overall, very good match. Dominic looking better. Ricochet looking really good in this match. I'm sure we're going to see this type of feud or this momentum continue over the next few weeks. But a good solid match here between Dirty Dom and Ricochet. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on Dominic and Ricochet's match?
Pretty good back and forth. I mean, there's really not much to say just because it was what it was. By the same token, I felt like it was enjoyable to watch. Just as a match itself. Mm-hmm. Forget the opening segment, even or the after the act part of the match, if you will. And just the match itself was good. It was solid.
All right. That's interesting. We have 3 votes on this thing, and we only have 1 viewer in the chat. And somebody said Raw was boring tonight. So, okay. Or did you think Raw was boring tonight?
That wasn't my vote.
Okay. There's 3 votes up here, and we got some good and we got some boring. And so somebody thought Raw was boring. I thought it was a decent show, especially when we came back. We got a nice video package hyping up DIY, which was nice to see. And then we got a really damn good match. I'm sorry. I think these two teams brought it. We saw tag team wrestling in WWE get a huge spotlight, and it was great. So we had Alpha Academy versus the Creed brothers. Chad Gable, notice that was Maxine Dupree and Akira Tozawa. Of course, when we come back from we go to commercial after they're introduced in the ring, and then we get a video package of Raquel Rodriguez, her video promo package, a mix there coming into her match at Crown Jewel coming up on a Saturday, which we will be covering that also. But anyways, then we got a video package hyping up the Creed brothers before they even came out, and then we finally got the Creed brothers with why am I forgetting her? Huh?
Ivy Nile.
Yes, Ivy Nile. There you go. I forgot to blank her name for a moment. Ivy Nile came out with the Creed boys, and we had a great, solid match. These guys put on one damn good of a tag team match. The back and forth, we saw a lot of high points. We saw real wrestling in this match. In the end, they hit the Creed brothers hit the Brutus Ball for the win. The Creed brothers are the winners. After the match, we get a nice handshake and a moment of respect between both these teams. But damn, this was probably the best match of the night. Probably a good dang tag team match. We haven't seen a good dang tag team match in a while, I think, at least in WWE. But I'm very impressed. A very good match. I like the Creed brothers in what we've seen tonight. Alpha Academy looking good as always. Kira Tozawa having his little spotlight in that whole thing is kind of the comedy relief. Of course, we'll have to see what they're going to do with it. Kira Tozawa. Mr. Clarke, what was your opinion on tonight, or not tonight, but this match here, Alpha Academy and the Creed brothers?
Really solid match. But something that stuck out to me that Michael Cole said. He was talking about the Creed brothers being in a similar vein to the Steiner brothers and the Road Warriors. Steiner brothers, I see the connection. Like the Road Warriors, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was just hype in general to, like, in other words, pay attention to this team.
Well, Michael Cole made a bigger blunder later in the show, which we'll talk about. But I mean, it was a solid for their first match. It was a solid showing. I think the Creed brothers are definitely going to be something that's going to be a threat when they finally.
Well, their first match on the main roster, anyways.
Well, yes, the main roster is what I mean. Once they come up full time to the main roster, they have a match tomorrow night on NXT. So I think once they get on the main roster, I think they're definitely going to be a threat in this tag team division that seems to be revitalized. Seems like Triple H is breathing fresh air into this and going to make tag team wrestling in WWE something serious to talk about. Something that seems to happen with every wrestling company. Tag team wrestling kind of takes a back seat and then they start focusing on it. And so hopefully AEW seemed to be the place for tag team wrestling. It seems like they're pulling away from that a little bit. But maybe hopefully WWE and Triple H can get that back on track.
Now, what would you think of this idea? Now, for all intents and purposes, they can just be that trio that they are, the former Diamond Mine, the Creed brothers, and Ivy Nile. But what would happen because they have a similar style? How would you feel if they actually joined the Alpha Academy?
I think that could be good and bad. I mean, it gives them something to do, builds another stable. But again, Alpha Academy is kind of that tag team, unless they really break Chad Gable to be a super over single star, which would be nice. I do think it kind of leaves Otis floating around in a weird place. And then you have both Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile that's mixed up in there. So unless you're going to do what could look like something, it definitely looks like Maxine Dupree may wind up with Ludwig Kaiser in some formation in the future. She kind of looks more aligned with Otis, but it looks like Otis keeps losing. So I don't know if there's a storyline where she's going to give up on Otis because he keeps losing, and Ludwig Kaiser's going to be like this dominant stud because he keeps winning. There's a little itty bitty storyline I feel like they're trying to hint at, but not being over apparent at it. It's like you really got to pay attention to detail. So I don't know what the direction with Maxine Dupree is. So if you have Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree in the stable, it can work, but that's a lot of people in what Alpha Academy is. Would it be beneficial to them? Maybe. It depends. It depends on what they want to do. There's a lot of what could be's there because you have Chad Gable. If he goes on to be a star by himself, then great. Then I feel like Otis becomes kind of lost in the shuffle. So it's kind of hard. And then you have the Creed brothers who are going to be a tag team, I'm sure, for a long, long time in WWE. So it'll have to be seen. Could it work? Yes. Will it? I don't know. It's going to be we're going to have to see where it all plays out.
That's fair.
Of course, from there we get a flashback from Cody's last week's attack with J.D. McDonough and Damian Priest, and then the end of the show where Cody came back limping, and so we got that video package. And then we go backstage, and Balor and Priest are in their locker room talking back and forth, and we get on the door, and we hear trick or treat, trick or treat. At first, I couldn't really tell who the voices were, and then in walk Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, and they come in for trick or treat, and they announce that they are the new Judgment Day, which was kind of retarded, and they were dressed up as Judgment Day. In walks Dirty Dom, J.D. McDonough, and Rhea Ripley. Xavier Woods has this brief moment with Rhea Ripley. He just has this moment, and Kofi quickly jumps in and pulls him away. And if you know the history, it kind of makes you laugh because it's Xavier Woods, and we will just leave it at that. Mm-hmm. Damian isn't upset with Rhea for booking matches, talking about there's no leader of Judgment Day. What is it? Rhea basically manipulates him by pumping him, going, yeah, but you're the Punisher of Judgment Day. You're the punishment of Judgment Day. This is why. And Damian kind of takes that. He's like, yeah, let's not worry about making it about Damian Priest. We'll make it about Judgment Day. But there's still this hint of dissension with Damian Priest, like he's getting fed up with this. I definitely think we are going to slowly see a Damian Priest step out of Judgment Day. J.D. McDonough seems to be stepping into Judgment Day. Could a Drew McIntyre be stepping into Judgment Day to fill the role of a Damian Priest? Not saying that's going to happen. I know a lot of people are kind of like, eh. I don't know. There's a lot of interesting things here, but it definitely seems like they're slowly building this reason for why Damian's going to step away. I don't know if it's going to be ultimately if he's going to cash in and then want to go on his own because they're going to be mad at him for cashing in and winning, or if he's going to cash in and it's going to be Judgment Day to cost him his cash in. So, interesting segment here. Anything you want to add to this backstage segment between Judgment Day, the new Judgment Day, and then the Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, and all that?
That whole segment had me shaking my head. Like, no, y'all. I mean, I understand the idea was to be haha funny, but by the same token, there's so many things I don't want to talk about on air when it comes to that. I want to keep the show going. I don't want it to get us canceled, so I will be good in STFU on that segment.
So we aren't going to talk about people, right? We'll leave that off air. Anyways, from there we go into probably one of the better segments we've had on Raw in a long time. A segment that really shows you why Miz is a great talent. Whether you love him or hate him, it really this really shined Miz's capability. So we're here for Miz's TV. Miz is finally back on TV. We have Miz TV. We go to a commercial, and we get a video package. Oh yeah, this is where we get the video package for the one who will not be named. If you want to know, and that's that. So we get her video package. Yeah, if you can read lips, congratulations. Otherwise, it will always end the story. This is the value of wrestling. We have our opinions, and there's certain names that just won't be said on air.
Unless it's just someone out there that feels like she's Big Mama fun.
Well, there's some people who just want to go. Yeah, we'll just, you know what? Back to the point. It was Miz TV, and this is a special edition of Miz TV. It's a Halloween edition. And so he's in there, and he's talking about being the biggest show. This is a Halloween edition. He's got the biggest guest, and he announces for Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion. He calls out Gunther. Gunther doesn't come out, so he's like, "Oh, maybe Gunther doesn't know how this works. You got to come out when I announce you." So he tries it again. We get nothing. Eventually, Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci come out. Ludwig tells The Miz that Gunther is not coming out here for The Miz. He tells The Miz he has everything wrong with the WWE today and calls The Miz a clown. The Miz rebuttals, calling Ludwig a sidekick to another man, and Giovanni must be the third wheel. Giovanni then asks The Miz, wasn't he Mirz's sidekick on Total Diva? And the Miz goes, oh my gosh, he talks. It makes a whole build up to the fans like, oh, he talks. This eventually leads out Gunther. Gunther comes out finally. And Wade Barrett makes the weirdest comment saying no one outdresses The Miz, but Gunther is done it just that Gunther has outdressed the Miz, and Gunther came out like in a blazer jacket, a black shirt, some slacks and shoes. I mean, it was just like, no, that didn't happen. So I don't even know what this whole what direction we're trying to go for. I know there's heel commentators, but even this one was a little over like, okay, I guess I'm like Michael Cole. I don't understand fashion. Maybe Mr. Clarke will understand fashion, and he will explain it all to me here in a moment. I don't know. But I thought this was a real interesting comment that Barrett was trying to make a point that I didn't even get. Anyways, as Gunther's coming to the ring, though, the Miz is dancing like a fool. I don't know if you caught, he was over there in the corner kind of dancing to Gunther's music like a fool. Gunther is here. He says he's not Miz's guest. Gunther tells the Miz the ring is sacred to him, and the Miz is beneath him. He doesn't respect the Miz. The Miz eventually gets fired up. Gunther says the bell rings. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All that matters is how great of a wrestler you are. Gunther laughs. Miz challenges Gunther basically, and Gunther laughs at his challenge. Gunther eventually calls Miz one of the greatest sports entertainers in history. Very interesting twist that WWE is calling someone on their show a sports entertainer. Gunther goes on to talk about being a great wrestler, talks about creating moments, and Miz has created moments on Miz TV many times. Ludwig goes over and smashes a pumpkin for some stupid reason. And Gunther goes, what are you going to do about it? You're going to do nothing. And they taunt Miz until Miz finally attacks Ludwig. He then turns around and gets chopped by Gunther. Miz is laying on the ground. Gunther's telling Miz he's not in his league. The Miz jumps to his feet and attacks Gunther, but then the rest of Imperium jump in to take out Miz. Miz eventually rolls out of the ring and goes to walk up the aisleway. As he's going up the aisleway, here comes DIY. I don't know if it was new music for DIY or if that was their old music. It's been a while, but it was new music, and they got a new Tritantron, and we got DIY. Mr. Clarke, tell me your feelings about Miz TV's episode tonight.
Greatest thing, Gunther chops Miz. Was Gunther better dressed than Miz? No, sorry, I'm not into high fashion. And even I can see that. I mean, he was dressed well. Don't get me wrong. He just wasn't dressed better than Miz. That was just heel commentator just putting over the heel. That's all that was.
Yeah, no, I know. It was just a weird way to do it, though, to me. But I like what they're going to do with Miz here, turning Miz babyface. I'm kind of excited to see what they can do with Miz. It gives Miz something different than the same old shtick, Is he a great heel? Yes. Is he always going to probably be slightly better as a heel? Yes. Could he surprise us and show us how good he can be at a babyface? Possibly. Miz is talented when it comes to being on the mic. And he's good in the ring. He may not be the greatest. He may not go on anybody's Mount Rushmore. But yes, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. We can't deny that for everything Miz has done. And comparing Miz to the very beginning when Miz came in and we couldn't stand him and really got go-away heat and had to dress out in the hallway and everything else to see where Miz is today. You can't deny what Miz has done for the business and what he's brought to the business. So I'm excited to see what we're going to get from a face Miz. It definitely looks like with this and a couple other segments later in the night, we got an Intercontinental title match or Intercontinental title challenger match next week when Miz, Ricochet, Bronson Reed, and even Ivar go in a four-way to see who will be the new number one contender. And we'll get more into that a little later. Anyways, we go to commercial break. Miz is in Adam Pearce's office. He wants a match. Here comes in Bronson Reed. Miz basically tells Reed, yeah, you can do it, but I'm the one that's going to take the title off of Gunther. Finally, we get DIY versus Imperium. A good, solid match. Another great tag team match here. Tag team wrestling being showcased in WWE always makes you excited. I think the move was called a meet in the middle. They said it so fast I couldn't catch it. But we got a meet in the middle. DIY, of course, gets their win on their first showing on the main roster together as DIY. And it was a great match. Good to see Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa back together. Can't wait to see how this is all going to play out, where this is going to go. It's going to be very interesting. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on DIY's win tonight over Imperium?
Another solid tag team bout. Yeah, joy to watch. I mean, it's DIY. It's Imperium. It's like, I like Imperium, as far as, the tag team of Giovanni and Kaiser. I really don't know how to put it over any more than it already has been, to be honest.
Well, overall, I think it was a good, solid match. We got a good match, entertaining match. We got to see DIY, and DIY won, which is a good thing. So we'll see where
Well, they
this
had
goes
to.
from
It's
here.
like that first bout back, as Tekken, like, unless there was a good storyline reason for them not to, it's like they had to go over.
From there, we got a video package with Nakamura. Nakamura's still claiming who's his next sacrifice, who's going to call him out, who's going to be next. And it looks like we know who's next for next week, at least. Akira Tozawa, for some reason, is going to take on Nakamura next week on Raw. Why Akira Tozawa wants to step up and be the next sacrifice, I can't tell you, but hopefully we get something interesting out of this. Akira Tozawa versus Nakamura should be a good match. Yes, Mr. Clarke.
This is the same character who thought it was smart to go up against Bronson Reed after giving him an out.
Yeah.
More guts than brains, as the old phrase goes, I guess.
Well, at least we're getting something different. We're getting Tozawa on TV a little more, so hopefully they have some purpose and some build that they're going to do something with him. We will have to wait and see. Anyways, our next match was Candice LeRae with Indy Hartwell taking on Xia Li. And this is Michael Cole's biggest botch of the night, if not almost the biggest botch of the year. He goes, "It's Candice Michelle." You didn't catch that?
No, my source is kind of glitchy tonight.
Michael Cole was out there, and he said it's He said it's Candice. We get Candice Michelle as she's coming down the ring. We go to commercial. As soon as we come back from commercial, Barrett calls out Cole for being stuck in 2008. And Cole continuously apologizing throughout the night, gets harassed for calling Candice LeRae Candice Michelle. He corrects himself, going, "No, it's Candice LeRae." We get a video package of Xia Li before the match begins. Lots of video packages tonight. Eventually, it seems like a kick, I think it was, kind of knocked Candice out of it. I don't know if it was legit or if they were just trying to sell the move to get Xia Li over. The ref calls the match. Xia Li wins, and yeah. It was an okay match. It wasn't a great match. I don't know if this was an intentional or if this was accidental, if she actually did get her bell rung. So we hope Candice LeRae is going to be okay, but didn't seem severely bad. I don't know if it helps Xia Li, if this is, a setup to make it look like she injured Candice LeRae. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It was kind of a match. It was okay.
The point would be, if it's a work, it's to make Xia Li look like a dangerous striker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I don't know if it did, though. It's kind of confusing, so I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what comes out of that. Is there anything you want to add to that? It was a match.
Where one of the glitchy spots.
Yeah. Anyways, we go backstage. We see Sammy and Jey Uso talking, and then Jackie Redmond walks up, wants to interview Jey Uso. Jey Uso puts over everybody and talks about what he's going to do in the future. Talk about getting those tag team titles back, maybe. And we get an interview with Jey Uso. Then we come back from commercial break, and we get a video package of Shayna Baszler. It's a video promo package. It's highlighting them, but they're all shooting their videos. It's all for the match coming up at Crown Jewel, the women's 5-way for the WWE Women's World Championship, I believe it is. So we get Shayna Baszler's version of that. Backstage, we see the trainer checking on Candice with DIY, several others around there. This is where I'm like, I don't know if it's a work or if it's a shoot or what's going on here. Then we get a beautiful package highlighting Drew McIntyre, preparing him for his big match against Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel for the WWE World title. We get that beautiful video package. From there, we get Seth Rollins. He's in the ring. He's going to take on JD McDonough. Seth Rollins out here on the mic talking over how the last time Seth faced Drew McIntyre, he was the Messiah, and the Messiah is long gone. But I think there has been a Messiah replacement, but that's for a different show at a different time in a different place. Anyway, Seth is rambling on, talking about his match coming up with Drew and what's going to go down when he's attacked from behind by JD McDonough. And we go into the match. Eventually, Priest comes down to the match. He's taunting Rollins, and eventually, in a kick-up flip, JD McDonough jumps to his feet or spins around, and he winds up in a pedigree anyways, gets stomped. Rollins gets the 1-2-3 on McDonough. Hopefully someday McDonough will get a win in his favor because I think there's talent there, but right now I'm sure he's just kind of getting his feet wet, and he's going to take the brunt of the losses for Judgment Day. He's kind of the Judgment Day whipping boy. As Seth Rollins pins McDonough, he stares a hole right through Damian Priest after the match. Seth continues to stare down Priest and rolls out of the ring, gets right into Priest's face, tells him to do something about it, tells him to do something about it, and tells him to do something about it. Good match between Seth Rollins and JD McDonough, but we get the continued storyline with Seth Rollins and what Damian Priest is going to do, and we get a very good match. Your thoughts on Seth Rollins and JD McDonough?
Well, not so much thoughts on the match itself, but more like if you want to see JD McDonough when he's not being used for what he's presently being used for, you might have to go back to have to go to Peacock, or if you're international, the WWE Network, NXT UK, maybe even a little bit of NXT before he jumped to the main roster. They do know how to showcase him. So it's like it is out there. Footage is out there.
Yeah, I think he's
he's in the role that he's in for the time being.
Yeah,
he's earning his stripes for the time being. That's what it is.
Yep. From there, we're backstage with Adam Pearce. He's with Ricochet. He's complaining about the match with Dirty Dom. He wants a rematch with Dirty Dom. Adam Pearce says, "How about a shot at the Intercontinental title?" And Ricochet says that's okay, but he still wants a Dirty Dom again at some point. Then we turn around and we see Chelsea Green here with Piper Niven as they are dressed up as the Hart Foundation. Chelsea Green dressed up as Bret the Hitman Hart, and Piper Niven in full Jim the Anvil Neidhart look and gear. So we get that, and then they walk away, and now Ivar and Valhalla walk up. Valhalla telling him they need to talk about, or telling Pearce they need to talk about the Intercontinental Championship. Pearce says, okay, they're going to go to his office and have a meeting, and then Pearce turns again, and for the second time, he said it last week, he said it this week, he needs a drink. So I don't know what this is leading to. You say it once, it's kind of funny. You say it a second time, I'm starting to go, are they going to turn him into something with this drinking bit? Is this going to be a part of his character coming forward? Because he keeps saying, I need a drink. I hope not, because it's like, we don't need it. But if it's his catchphrase, I guess. But once it's funny, the second time you're kind of going, if this starts continuing, I'm going to get a little worried.
Well, by the same token, it's like you can kind of understand where he's coming from. Just saying it. You don't need to ever really show it. Just hit what? Dealing with all these fools. I want to drink.
I get it. I just get worried about if they keep repeating it. What is the driving story here? What are they, other than just being a punchline? If it's a punchline, great, but also it does kind of wear out. There's only so many times you can repeat the same little punchline over and over again. If they break it up, like if they do it 2 weeks and don't say it for a couple weeks and bring it back, then it might be okay. Anyways, we get Natalya versus Chelsea Green in a one-on-one match. It's a Halloween trick-or-treat or trick-or-street fight is what it was called. Trick-or-street fight, as they called it. Natalya comes out dressed as a bunny or the bunny. I don't know which. We didn't get an interview. She comes out. We go back to commercial break. We come back from commercial break. We get an interview backstage with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch puts over Lyra about her winning the NXT title from her. Claims she is the catalyst for change. She doesn't need the title. The title needs her. In walks Xia Li. She wants to fight Becky. She asks Becky, why'd you lose the title? Well, why'd you lose it? I won a title shot. Why'd you lose it? Anyways, Becky basically says, you want to fight? Let's do it. And Xia Li says, yeah, but it'll be on my time, and walks away. And Becky Lynch is like, what? You were here last week? When's your time? What the heck? Anyways, we go back to the ring. It's a trick-or-street fight. Chelsea Green comes out to dress as Bret the Hitman Hart. Piper Niven dresses Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And they even come down to the Hart Foundation version of the music. Not Natalya's version, but the old classic Hart Foundation music as they come down to the ring. And we get your traditional trick-or-street fight. This one was a little better than what they put on Collision the other night.
A little better?
Yes. It was way better. They had more pumpkins, tons of pumpkins, like I called. I think they even paid homage to AEW when they used candy corn for this, for the power bomb off the top of ropes. Eventually, at some point, we knock pumpkins off the table, and Nikki Cross's head is stuck up through the table. She's just death staring. Chelsea Green crawls over and comes face to face with Nikki and screams. She eventually gets rolled in. We get dropped on the candy corns. Cole says, "Oh, it's candy corn. We're getting hardcore." And then I think Natalya power bombs Chelsea Green into the candy corn. She gets a 1-2, and then Cole hitting the. Oh, it was almost a corny finish. Yeah, really bad there. Anyways, we go back and forth. Eventually, a pumpkin pie gets brought into the game, and Piper eats a pumpkin pie, and then she eats a elbow from Natalya. Natalya turns from the elbow and gets hit by the unpretty her, as they like to call it. I would rather call it a kill switch or the unprettier. We'll leave it to the man who used to do it. But anyway, Chelsea Green picks up a big win over Natalya with the unprettier. It was a match. It was a decent match. It was way better of a street fight for a Trick or Treat Halloween special, which we get every year. We get one of these things. And we got a decent one with Natalya and Chelsea Green. I kind of get a kick out of the Chelsea Green Piper Niven dressed up as a Heart Foundation, even coming out to the Heart Foundation music. I know Natalya had at least approved this, but you could see that Natalya definitely sold like it got under her skin when they came out. Mr. Clarke, your thoughts on this Trick or Street fight? Or did you just like the bunny outfit?
Bunny outfit was cool. My favorite part was Sarah Green forcing Natalya to eat her pie.
And you don't want to get kicked off the channel. Yeah, you don't want to. You didn't want to get canceled earlier. Into Windows and Perception or everything, my friend.
Did she not force her to eat her pie?
Somebody ate pie, but we're not going to go down that road. We're going to stay out of that rabbit hole.
I don't know. I've been enjoying Natalya's work in more recent matches. I think she has a great presentation right now. I was watching some interview somewhat recently where she said she's actually in the best shape of her life, and then like she looks good. I mean, I think the right person won over tonight. Yeah. We need to keep them going. I don't know how I feel about. It's got to be kind of weird though to have Piper Niven dressed as your father, who's passed away. Like, that's different.
Well, that's why I say at least Natalya proved it, and she did sell it. I know it wasn't like a major shock, but I mean,
proved it.
But I get it. It was a Halloween trick or treat costume. You're Chelsea Green. You're going to do something to get under Natalya's skin. So it made sense. It made sense for them to dress up with the Heart Foundation. To some people, it might have seemed like the wrong thing, but to me, it fit with the characters, especially with Chelsea Green.
I think it's weird.
Well, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying I know some people might take offense to it or go like, "Why would you do that? That's just mean or something." There's
they are mean girls. That's kind of the point.
Yes, exactly. There are simpletons out there in the world. Anyways. We thank you for joining us. If you're in the chat, or if you're watching us and you're seeing us, we are live. You're welcome to join us in the chat. Drop a comment. And if you are here, make sure you hit that like button for us, won't you? Share this out. And we are about to get to the wrap-up point here. But we had Rhea Ripley. She got her video package finally. So we have the match at Crown Jewel for the WWE Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler, who we got her video package for earlier. Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler. Oh, Zoe, you didn't get a video package, I think, for Zoe Stark. Sure, I missed it. Anyways, and then the one that will never be named. We won't even go down that road. So the 5-way dance for the title. We've come a long way in Saudi Arabia. And, of course, in the end of the show, we got the big one for Rhea Ripley. And then we moved into the main event of the night, Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest. We had to assume this wasn't going to be a match. We had to assume this was all going to fall apart at some point. A good showing both between Sami Zayn and Damian Priest. It was really good before it broke down into a DQ. Finn Balor was out. Then Jey Uso was out. Everything breaks down. Dom and Balor go after Sami, and here's Jey. They're beating down Jey. And then finally we get the, Cody Rhodes come running down. Cody Rhodes takes them out. Rhodes takes JD McDonough up on a table and hits a crossroad. The crowd chants another, or what is it? One more time. One more time. So Cody does it one more time, and we got another one. We got a crossroads on JD McDonough. JD McDonough, just kind of the whipping boy of everything right now, takes a second crossroads on the table. And then Rhodes gets on the bike and does, what Rhodes does best. I mean, he learned from his daddy. He cut a promo. He ripped into Damian Priest, talked about, you tried to take out my leg, blah, blah, blah. Now we're going to do this. And Cody ain't going anywhere. And we close out with Cody on the mic. another good match, a good solid match. At the end of the day, Q, you know what we're getting into. This is going to continue. Even I know people are getting tired of Judgment Day. People are like, "Oh, it's the same old thing." Judgment Day. I think we're trying to get to the final stories here. Damian Priest is going to pull away probably after Survivor Series, after War Games is over, and all this mess. But I think that's that's what we're heading for. This is all build up to Judgment or for War Games. We're going to see Judgment Day for a couple more weeks. We got 3 more weeks, I think now. We got to get through Crown Jewel, then we'll get to Survivor Series. We'll get this build, and then we'll start seeing where pieces fall. But I know people are probably getting a little tired of it. I understand where you can get tired of the same old thing in some of these instances, but it's building a big storyline. It's storytelling. Some people are going to disagree with it and say it's mediocrity. And if you stand for mediocrity, then you don't really stand for anything. But I think we see what's coming here. We know what's going to happen. We're just trying to get there. It's just taking us some time to get there. Mr. Clarke, your opinion with Damian Priest and Sami Zayn.
It was everything you expected it to be. You knew it was just a continuation point as opposed to, you didn't really think it was going to be that big of a match, Yeah. My thing was, why was Michael Cole, as Cody was doing his promo and was trying to sell before we're going off air, saying something about, are we going to a Saudi Arabian nightmare? Like, heading towards Crown Jewel. Really, dude? Really?
Don't know. I guess I didn't pay enough attention to that. Sometimes I think I drowned out the commentators just because they can get a little ridiculous in some of their statements unless they say something really off the wall like Gunther's dressed better than Miz, and you're just like, what? Or you call Candice LeRae Candice Michelle and you tell us which era you're stuck on. So, anywho,
I thought that was just a Laurinaitis thing.
It's people power. And if you want to be people power, you do what you do for Johnny Laurinaitis gets Johnny. We'll bring you people power.
Something tells me he might have actually believed his own hype.
Hey, pal, I was over here in Saudi Arabia. I got a couple bunnies over here for you. You want to come over? I'll be right there, Vince. Anyways, yes.
So yeah, that was Raw.
Yes, that was Raw. Monday Night Raw. It was a really good show, I think, for what it was. It probably wasn't the best go-home show. I'm sure a lot of people will be out here going, man, she could have done better, could have done this. But, I mean, we got some really good matches. I don't think you can take away from what we got. We got to see Dirty Dom versus Ricochet, which was a good, solid match from both of them, Alpha Academy and the Creed Brothers. We got to see the Creed Brothers make their main roster debut on Raw here and showed out really amazing.
Win.
And they win, yes.
Just like a showcase. They actually won.
Yes, they got a big win over Alpha Academy. They made both teams look really good. Made tag team wrestling look really good. The Miz segment. I think it was a really, really good segment. It gets Gunther over. It starts the change in Miz. It was a really good segment between the both of them, and so I can't argue with that. DIY and Imperium, another good tag team match. We got to see DIY win, which is the right way to go. Candice LeRae, Xia Li. Wasn't the best match. It kind of ended. We're still trying to figure out how that all really unfolded. Seth Rollins and JD McDonough, of course, they put on a good match as always. And Natalya, Chelsea Green, it's what you're going to get in a Tricker Street fight. It's what you should expect. Way better than what AEW put on Saturday night. Hopefully Tony Khan was watching and learned a few things about how you put on a Halloween fight. And you don't put a title on the line. And you don't put a title on the line because if it goes bad, then it's not as bad. If it's just a flusher fight, that goes bad, at least you don't put your title looking down and something like this. And of course, WWE used 2 people. They used a veteran in Natalya and Chelsea Green, who they're trying to build as this up-and-coming character. I think they're doing really good with the slow burn of letting her grow. They also have Piper Niven in this effect, and then they have Nikki Cross doing whatever Nikki Cross is doing. Makes us wonder where this is all going to play out. Something else we have to wait and see. And then they give us a great match with Damian Priest and Sami Zayn. Of course, the DQ finish. Not exactly how we would like the main event to end, but it's just a build. It's continuing this feud. We know that Sami, Jay, Cody, it looks like Ricochet against at least the 4 members of Judgment Day as it looks for now. Could there be 5 added in there? Could we get Rhea Ripley in there with maybe the other guys getting another female in there, or is she going to get in there with 5 men? I mean, we've seen this in many areas, and there's a lot of other federations. I know TNA just had or Impact going to be TNA, had that battle royal where they had women and men in it, and they were all fighting one another. So, maybe it's not impossible. We've seen China get involved and be the Intercontinental Champion. Of course, that also led to one JEFFJARRETT quitting because he had to lose a match or get a better payday and then quit anyways or get fired. I forget the whole scenario off the top of my head at the moment, nor does it matter. So, I mean, yes, you could throw Rhea Ripley in that steel cage in a and she would be the type of personality that would be viable to go, I'm getting in there regardless of who else is in there. So could we see War Games with Rhea Ripley in a 5-on-5? It's possible. I don't think WWE wants to go that way, which is fine. To each their own. Some people want to see intergender matches. Some people are like, it's funny, it's cool every once in a while, but not in this scenario. And that, everybody gets to have a right to their own opinion, and that is perfectly fine. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't, and that's all okay. Anyways, we are running this week. We and me and my tag partner will be back here on Wednesday after Dynamite. We'll review Dynamite, and then we'll be here for SmackDown. SmackDown was taped, so I know there's a lot of spoilers out there. Of course, they had to tape SmackDown because they're all flying over to Saudi Arabia, which is on a basically almost like a 12-hour difference. I've been over there, or at least nearby. And, I spent almost several months in the desert in Iraq over there. So yes, there's a big time difference. So SmackDown is gonna be recorded, or it's already been taped, and we'll see it on Friday. But we will review everything that happened on SmackDown on Friday, and it should be on the normal Fox channel, not FS1 this time, which is fine. Of course, I guess last week really screwed up everybody on the West Coast because I guess they saw it at the regular time, and then it got interrupted by the World Series or something. I don't know. It came on at 5 o'clock for me, so I don't know if they showed it at both 5 o'clock when it was fresh for the East Coast, and then repeated at 8 p.m. For people on the Pacific time. We didn't know. I don't know. I caught it early. I didn't have any issues, but I heard a lot of people had issues with the West Coast feed of SmackDown last week on FS1. But hopefully they get that fixed and everything. Well, it's going to be on Fox, so we should be good there. And then we'll be here double duty Sunday, unfortunately. In the morning, Sunday. We will be up early on Saturday. Excuse me. Why are we talking about Sunday? Double duty on Saturday, because we'll be getting up early for Saturday for Crown Jewel, who's going to be on around 10 my time, 11 your time, I believe that is. Mm-hmm. And then right after that's over, we will get together with our other partner and our New Japan Pro Wrestling expert, Miguel Z, who isn't here. I don't see him in the chat. Shame. And you know what? Maybe he should just be for not being here. We gotta keep the streak going. He wasn't here, so he gets fired. Just the way it goes. No, but he will be here with us for the Crown Jewel review. And, of course, Miguel Z, our New Japan Pro Wrestling expert, has his own Rebound podcast over on Spotify. Go check that out if you have Spotify. Go check out the New Japan Pro Wrestling Rebound on Spotify. It's also got a couple of videos on here. One where he talks about Okada. I think he has a couple other videos that will hopefully come out here in the next few days. Talking about everything in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then, of course, on Sunday we do the weekly. We do our own weekly roundup podcast. I go blank. Sometimes you can do this really good, but sometimes the words don't come out. Your mind just goes and it's okay. But the weekly roundup podcast, we do that every Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure you're here for that. And if you're here for that, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because you can be an important part of the Value Wrestling family. You help us grow with each and every subscription. Make sure you share this video out so anybody else who doesn't know about us can find us. And make sure you ring that bell for notifications so when we do go live or we have any other videos or content, you'll know about it. We had a couple of things of content this date in wrestling history. One of the hottest shorts coming out of the Value Wrestling. And, of course, Marty Richards gave us a rundown on the dissolution of one Feed Me More man. But yeah, you can always feel free. Right? Yeah, he gave us something. I know some people are just they're never gonna be. But that's okay. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Maybe you just want to learn about the dissolution of. But hey, that's up to you. And of course, we are here with new content. We'll be back Wednesday And that is it for tonight. Is there anything else you want to say, Mr. Clarke, before we shut the door, get out of here, make a run? I'm going to go jump in my hot tub and relax for the rest of the evening. But anything else you want to add to this wonderful program?
You know, if this were the movie The Crow, this would have been called Devil's Night. Do you remember that?
No, not offhand.
Just a nice little tidbit. In any regard, have a happy Halloween. Safe. Do your thing. Whether you go to a party, whether you trick or treat, whether you just sit at home and say, "Punk them kids, I am not giving out candy. I'm going to sit here and watch my horror movies." Whatever you do, enjoy yourself.
All right.
And if you're going to go out and you're going to go trick-or-treating, or you got kids that are going out and trick-or-treating or trunk-or-treating, whatever they're doing, please be safe out there. Be cautious. Be alert. And with that being said, like I always say, until the next episode, it's time for me to know it. And we're going to get out of here until next time.